Billy and Mandy was like the episode where they all had a wish. And then Puddin's wish was he wanted a bunny to love him, and the bunny's literally trying to kill him the whole episode. And I was just like, what the fuck am I watching? But
It was a Andre 3000.
oh,
Yeah.
Class of 3000! That was a definitely
3000.
show. All right, guys. So Cartoon Network has finally turned 30 years old. Shit. I mean, I feel old now. But I think I decided that we're going to do a podcast dedicating our experiences with Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
talking about
Chuku
the best.
decided. Chuku
Yes,
decided.
exactly. I'm very loving of Cartoon Network here, and I figured we'll talk about our experiences with it, or the best shows, favorite animes, and the future for the network, and see what it's going to be in the future. So, who I have here with my panelists, I have me, Chuku,
OC.
Christine.
Scott.
Crystal.
So yeah, let's start with the first question to all my panelists is, what was your most memorable experience with Cartoon Network?
Ooh.
Toonami. Does that count?
That can count.
I think
Yo,
we have
Dragon Ball
to.
Z.
Does Adult Swim count too?
Adult Swim definitely
yeah,
counts.
Adult
Okay, then
Swim.
Inuyasha, because that was.
Ooh.
We're talking about anime.
Yeah.
Not even like
We'll get to the anime section later,
it
but
was
let's,
the
Okay,
introduction
Ed, and Eddie.
to anime, at least for a lot of
I was
a lot
gonna
of
say
us.
you have to mention Toonami and Adult Swim because it's like
Yeah.
for just like American kids.
Yeah.
That for a lot of people was the first exposure to anime.
To anime.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like
I
and then
agree.
we ran away with it and now we're like anime fans.
Inuyasha,
So-
Rurouni Kenshin, Yu Yu Hakusho.
yeah.
Prince
all-
of Tennis,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Trigun.
Zatch Bell.
Zatch
When they
Bell.
started to play Naruto on there
Oh,
too.
no, then,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, man.
Yeah, definitely. But
The
what?
Grim Adventures of Billy and
Yeah,
Mandy
definitely.
also.
That was a good show.
Yes.
But what about like your first experience? Like, do you guys remember your first experience or whatever?
Nah.
I think
Like, at least
I
one
mean,
go
if I
first.
no,
remember
because it's
my
like
first
Channel 40,
experience.
45.
No, because I would sit on the floor and like if you were zoned into Cartoon Network, you're probably watching multiple cartoons at once. And I remember like the block for like most days was like Ed, and Eddie,
Mhm.
and then like
Codename Kids Next Door.
yeah,
Oh my
Codename
God.
Kids Next Door
Yeah.
specifically. Yep, those two. And then like the later it got into the night, like you could see like Samurai Jack or like Teen Titans.
Ooh, Samurai Jack.
Ooh,
yeah.
Yes.
Ben was good.
Ben
Yes.
10.
Yes.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah, Ben 10.
Forgot about
Undeniable.
Ben 10.
Ben 10 also, I think, and over Teen Titans to me, the better intro song.
Oh yeah,
Whoa.
intro.
Whoa.
Intro. Ooh, interesting. Maybe that should be a topic. Which one had the best Cartoon Network
Actually, you
intro
know what?
song?
Nah, they're tied. that was really crazy of me to say. Sorry.
I'm like thinking.
No.
Sure.
Okay, I
Ben
like
10.
this. So non-anime, which
Hot
Cartoon
take.
Network had the best intro song?
Teen Titans
Teen
is so
Titans.
memorable. Like,
I was trying to start some shit. But yo,
I can't even
wait,
remember Ben
the
10's.
Ben 10
I
one
remember
goes
Ben
off.
10.
Can you like do a
Sounds
little
like-
snippet?
goes. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Nope, don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play
It
it.
I like
started
it.
when an alien
Na- na-
device
na-
is
na-
originated and
It-
showed itself to
Well,
Well, it had more words
with
than
secret
like Teen
settings.
Titans had way less lyrics.
Exactly.
T-E-E.
Ben 10.
T-I-T-A-N-S.
Those are letters. Those aren't even words, y'all. But no, Ben 10 was great. And Ben 10.
Yeah.
But no, Teen Titans. I mean, it had two versions,
Hold up.
so you're gonna have to even clarify on that.
But
Because
did they sing their theme song in an episode? Like the intro? Like Cyborg did for Teen Titans?
What?
He didn't sing it. He sang a different version.
Yeah, but it was still the same melody though.
Did they sing in Teen Titans Go?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I honestly don't know about that.
That was
Hey, the people love Teen Titans Go.
That was
No,
after
we're
my
not-
liked
time.
it.
It's
That was after
it's-
my time.
It's definitely a
No,
definitely
and that was the
decent
thing.
show.
Like, there
Oh,
was a-
Samurai Jack had a great intro. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of
Oh,
all the
yeah.
intros.
Back to the past,
Samurai
back
Jack,
to the
back
past,
to the
Samurai
past.
Jack.
Wow,
Jack,
I don't,
Jack,
how do you
Jack.
guys remember?
Samurai
Because we love
Jack,
good television.
Back to the past.
Okay, I have questionable taste. I know the Inuyasha one actually, so never mind.
Wasn't Samurai Jack? That one was like Lofi even. Like that
Yeah.
was such a good production on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember, there was a Andre 3000.
Oh,
Yes!
Class of 3000.
Class of
That was a definitely
3000.
show.
Class of 3000
If we're talking
is oh my god.
Music technicality. Class of 3000 probably has the best intro.
I can't believe, like, I'm so happy in myself that my introduction to Andre 3000 was through that show, because I was a kid watching this show and I had no idea who Andre 3000 was.
Wait, really? You didn't watch like MTV and see like Hey Yeah
I
music
wasn't
video?
really watching MTV at that stage in my life. But Class of 3000 was like, oh, this music is so cool. And then like
Every
growing
episode.
up to find out that, oh, this guy is like an actual artist. Like this guy's like an actual person who makes amazing music. And I'm like, yo, this is
a
so
little
cool.
a little piece of history. I think that show only went on for like a season or something
Two
like that.
seasons.
2 seasons?
Yeah.
Because he was like producing a song every episode.
episode.
They'd have to record that song and they'd
every
have to
episode
do
has amazing songs.
They're all good. It's
They're
Andre
all good.
3000.
It's
Yeah.
so good. Oh my god. Like,
Man, I've never heard of this
Yeah,
show.
I kind of.
Really?
I'm gonna look
Dude,
this up
that
real
was
quick.
really one of the
Class of
I
3000.
couldn't tell you like what happened in any of the episodes, but
It
the
doesn't
music.
matter. It doesn't
heard-
matter.
But
You're just waiting for the
in
music every
itself,
time.
Exactly.
yes, the
It was-
music
it
is what
was
made that
memorable.
show.
Peanut butter song.
The crayon bananas.
Crayons,
Ooh,
bananas,
baby.
ooh, hey,
Do what you want to do. Shawty.
Oh man.
I don't think I've ever actually.
God,
have I
man.
seen this?
What was the intro was like?
Class of 3000 say na 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 na.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
That might be my favorite intro now.
Well,
We
see,
finally got a new one.
give it up one time for like Andre 3000. I'm
Yeah.
glad I brought it up. I'm glad you guys have good taste.
Okay.
I'm glad you guys have
Of
good
course,
taste.
of course.
I'm like
of
living
course.
off of your guys'
I think
energy.
it was actually, it might have been your cousin who like introduced me to Andre 3000 through that show, because I was talking about one of the songs on it.
And then
And I was like playing drums
you're like,
to it.
what is an
And
outcast?
he was playing like piano and something like
Yeah.
that, and I was like, "Yo, so good, so good."
Yeah.
I mean, shouts out to just Outkast in general. That's Andre 3000 is got to be like my favorite rapper, like
definitely.
like of all time.
But
next to Kanye.
What about like as far as non-anime, just like pure cartoons? What would you guys would say was like the best show?
Nah, dude,
Cartoon
anime
Network?
for life. Just kidding.
Sure.
Kids Next Door,
Teen
short name
Titans.
Kids Next Door, Teen Titans.
Okay,
But
so you
gotta-
can choose
Teen
one.
Titans.
I did
if
really
you have to
like
choose one show,
The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy has like a soft place in my heart.
okay,
You know what?
one show.
Justice League.
Justice
Ooh.
League. That's your show.
Ooh.
That was my, and I love Teen Titans, but like you can't deny like how good those like Bruce Timm animated DC
Yeah.
shows were.
Yeah.
This is challenging.
No, wait, was Teen Titans not on WB?
It was on So it started on WB, but then Cartoon Network. It eventually got Cartoon Network, and Cartoon Network started having more seasons. So it was a WB original, but Cartoon Network did better on
'Cause-
Cartoon Network.
So
I
for
see, I
me,
see.
like DC is a gift that keeps on giving. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
based on just a huge repertoire of like comics.
Mm-hmm.
But like that was my intro to like DC stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and now like I mean, people on the channel know like we're like DC fans, and
Yeah.
like it started with that. It started with the cartoons, and it specifically because Teen Titans is very stylized.
Yeah.
And like I love that it's stylized.
Yeah.
But like the DC animated shows to me is like the best adaptation of those stories. They're so good, and I don't know. That's got to be my favorite.
So
if
would
it's
it be
the best? I
so
don't
is
know.
Justice League specifically your favorite Cartoon Network show?
I would say so. I
Okay.
rewatch that series
Okay.
all the time.
Okay. What about you, Scott? I'm curious.
I'll go with Teen Titans.
Teen Titans your
There's
favorite?
just so many great episodes in Teen Titans.
Okay.
But do you
okay.
rewatch
Like-
them?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've
yeah.
I've rewatched Teen Titans all the time, and there's just certain episodes that just pop into my head
Yeah.
occasionally.
Yeah.
Like,
that's-
I was thinking about the episode where that one guy had a tournament with all the,
Oh,
all the guys.
I remember that.
Yeah.
the winner of all. That's
Yeah,
what episode's
yeah,
called.
yeah, yeah.
Is that
I
the
remember
episode
that.
with like
Nice.
Speedy?
Yeah,
and-
Speedy
yeah.
and all
Oh,
that.
that was,
I remember
that was a
that.
great episode.
It's
Yeah.
it's undeniable. Teen Titans is like it transcends a lot of things
Yeah.
because it was another one of those things where it was like a cultural moment. Like
Exactly.
every kid was watching Teen Titans
Mhm.
at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
And I mean it like no other series had like just full length movies that they made for it
Yeah.
and like, a spin-off. Like not a lot of shows can say that they've had that like effect, I guess.
That's definitely.
So I give it up. I give it up to Teen Titans. One of my
I
favorites.
really
for
wish
sure.
Teen Titans actually fully ended. I did didn't like the way it ended with that
yeah.
cliffhanger about is
Oh, yeah.
Terror
That's
really
gonna be
alive?
that's a huge crime. the jail for whoever decided
I
that.
heard that they originally were trying to make a Justice League Unlimited of Teen Titans, because that's why the last season had a bunch of Titans and everything. So they wanted to make like every episode be like a different Titan kind of thing. So
I heard it was like some marketing issue. Like
Yeah.
they couldn't, for some reason back then, like market research was really limited, and they like figured out something about like the target audience was supposed to be like young males, but they like realized that a lot of like young females watched it, and they were
I feel like that's Young Justice that had that issue.
I remember this being for, was it Young Justice?
I'm pretty sure it was Young Justice that they had the issue that the marketing was supposed to be for, they had more females and they had more young males for it.
Who's to say it's not the same thing for Teen Titans though?
I mean, it's
because that's a
possible.
pretty heartbreaking end.
It is a heartbreaking end for the way it ended, but I also heard because like Teen Titans, because normally the way shows work is like for WB you're only signed at like 52 episodes, and then if you exceed more than 52, I mean obviously that means you have to sell a lot more. And I'm guessing Teen Titans, even though it succeeded the 52, I guess the marketing didn't. They were thinking like, I guess business decides like, oh, it's still not making as much we want out of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing that happened.
Huge disservice to everyone everywhere.
Yeah.
like I can't believe they
Yeah.
did that to
It's
us
just
on a great
annoyance with-
cliffhanger too.
yeah.
But Christine, what about you? What's you think is the best Cartoon Network show that's non-anime on Cartoon Network?
I mean, the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy did have like a place in my heart
Okay.
for it.
I agree. I loved it.
Yeah, it was one of those shows. It was a comfort show for me,
Okay.
and I really liked the story, the way that visually it looks too.
Mhm.
I don't think I've really seen that anywhere else today,
Mm-hmm.
to be
Yeah.
honest.
That was like I like how we're saying like that these Cartoon Network shows are like your intro to this, your intro to that. It was like the intro to a lot of things, and I think for Billy and Mandy that was like the intro to like dark humor.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
like, just about to say
Exactly.
that. To sarcasm too,
Yeah.
dude. I was.
The
Yeah.
episode that I'll never forget about Billy and Mandy was like the episode where they all had a wish. And then Puddin's wish was he wanted a bunny to love him, and the bunny's literally trying to kill him the whole episode. And I was just like, "What the fuck am I watching?" But I forever that's when I realized I had a dark sense of humor. I thought it was
Yeah.
funny.
That was like
Yeah.
the first foray, I think, for a lot of like kids, I guess, too, into just like absurdism too, because like those, like
A lot of those shows, like
cartoons in
Courage
general.
the Cowardly Dog.
I was just about to bring that
Yeah.
up. But I wasn't sure if that was on Cartoon Network.
Oh, it was Cartoon
it?
Network.
Okay.
It is.
Wait.
Courage scared the crap out
Me
of me.
It
too.
was
Same,
scary.
Wait,
same.
I'm actually
But
gonna change my answer.
Do you guys remember
Oh,
the
you
intro
You
to
want to
that
change it
one?
to Courage?
The intro to Courage was
Okay.
I guess something was
Scary.
wrong with me when I was a kid, because like I told you, like I was really like scared of like horror films, but like I still liked like the idea of horror, I guess,
Yeah.
because like in grade school, like my favorite, I wrote this on like little projects and stuff. My favorite cartoon was Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Something was wrong with me because now I like watch old episodes. I'm like, this is
This is
disturbing.
creepy.
It's
This
creepy.
is disturbing,
Yeah.
but
Creepy.
I loved it, and I loved Courage. And there were episodes that like made me cry too. There was like really emotional episodes, y'all. But
Yeah.
Courage was
I
like
had
a,
to-
a defining one for me. I think that's maybe
Yeah.
why I'm a horror fan
Yeah.
now. But
Yeah.
I had to
I was
like
gonna
build
say.
myself up to being able to watch through Courage the Cowardly Dog. I remember like being too scared to watch episodes
I
at one
feel
point, and then like I got over it.
It was the
No.
intro that got me because it was like black and white.
Yeah.
I think I
Courage the
vaguely
Cowardly
remember.
Dog.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Cat Dog? Is that
No, that's
Cartoon Network?
Nickelodeon.
That's
Okay.
What,
Nickelodeon.
OC, what would you say is your you see consider the best cartoon show?
From Cartoon Network, I'm gonna go with something that hasn't been mentioned yet. I'm gonna go with the Boondocks.
Ooh.
That's Adult Swim, no?
I get it. I get it. I get
No,
it.
we're gonna keep that Adult Swim. We're gonna-
Wait,
we're
no,
gonna
wait,
have
we're gonna
Adult
touch
Swim.
Adult Swim.
That's a separate.
No, I
separating-
have
we're
thoughts
separating-
about Adult
we're gonna-
Swim,
we're-
so we need to.
We'll
yeah.
get there.
We'll
Still on
get there.
Cartoon Network.
We'll
No.
get there. We'll get
That's
there.
still on
We'll
Cartoon
get there. No, that'll be we'll get
But
there
it's
to a
not
different
branded
discussion.
Cartoon Network.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We
we'll,
need a-
We'll do Adult Swim.
All right, change your answer.
So we're just going Cartoon Network.
Okay,
This
so
is not
just Cartoon
Toonami.
Network
This is not
excluding-
this excluding Toonami
excluding
and
Adult
Adult
Swim.
and Adult Swim.
Yeah,
So
'cause
just-
I
We're
would've
not
said
talking about anime.
Inuyasha,
We're gonna do
dude.
anime.
Yeah, you
Okay.
tried it. You tried it. OC.
Yeah, I was gonna be just put the best one out. Okay, okay. So for excluding Adult Swim and we're excluding Toonami, I'll probably go with I'll probably go with Teen Titans.
Really?
I might go with Teen Titans. It's between that and Kids Next Door.
I'm going with Kids Next Door.
Okay.
That's
We
my
have
show.
to. Even if we didn't mention it, it has to be an honorable mention because
Yeah.
that show was everything.
I
Like,
think-
that's an insult, really? Teen
Yes, it
Titans?
is. I mean, no, I'm not saying so. I'm not saying Teen Titans is a bad show. I love Teen Titans. Right? I've watched it multiple times as well, like Scott. But I just think Kids Next Door to me is like the perfect. When I think of a kid show, and market for kids, and represent what it's like to be a kid, that show just does it best. Like it was just.
It's like every aspiration of a child. I remember.
Yeah, and what I also love about it is I feel
so
like it's a
imaginative.
timepiece because it's like I just don't think kids the way we were back in our day is different from how kids are to those days. Like tree houses and stuff, that was something that we
Like
were when
playing,
we were kids.
in general, having
Right.
an imagination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nowadays, those kids don't really do that. And like, I felt like what made that show really appealing was that the gap between a child and like an adult. Because like when we were children, we didn't know how adults were. So there was this fantasy of like, oh, adults are these types of people, that kind of people. Nowadays, like, you know, that gap is closed with YouTube and everything.
I don't know if it holds up. I know you watched it recently, OC, and you were like, there's some like weird stuff in it. But I think where no other shows can touch Codename Kids Next Door either is that like they brought a lot of like tropes. I know you hate that word. They brought a lot of elements of other media into Codename Kids Next Door because there's lots of Easter eggs, like little references to other stories, right? Like they had like an Indiana Jones episode.
Yeah,
like
number 5.
They're all technically like spies, so like spy work and like espionage is always like present, like in like the things that they do. So like there's just like a lot of, because I was like a big Indiana Jones like fan. I loved those movies when I was a kid. So like seeing those episodes was like really special for me. And I'm like, dang, like no other kid show is doing this. And I was really into that.
I like that. They had Star Wars. Every episode was basically a reference to a movie or a different show.
I think as a movie lover, that was.
I kind of want to rewatch Codename Kids Next Door now.
It was an amazing show. But I don't know. It was just and then they also had movies for Kids Next Door. They had the Number Zero movie, and then they had the movie for the final episode. That was like a movie.
Was that the one where was it a movie where number 4 was like traveling through time? Is that what you're talking about?
No, that was a movie. That was just an episode.
That was a great episode though.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
That was
emotionally
I think it was a double episode.
Yeah.
It was a double
That was an
episode.
emotional roller coaster. That one is like one that sticks with me.
I love that episode. The number 4 time travel one with the blasters that turn you into a girl.
Oh yeah. I wonder how that would age now.
Yeah, I'm curious
about
rewatching it to see how they deal with that.
Okay, for someone who hasn't watched it before, would you still recommend
even now
still,
as an adult? Yes, because like it's just even the references. I just feel like it will definitely make you feel like a kid again in a good way. As well, since you love movies and stuff, so there's a lot of references to
the
movies.
intro was great too. It was very like some like
exactly.
Oh my God, I
very
remember
James Bond of
that.
them. Very James Bond of them to
And
do like the silhouettes.
I also
you know?
love the diversity, right? Because like I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like I mean, even though the guys were all technically white, they all were like
different kinds
of
but
white.
there were people of
and then
color
we had
on
an Asian
that
girl.
show.
There
we
was
had a
body
black
diversity.
Girl.
Yeah.
So it was
body diversity.
It's a very cool show.
Yes.
It was ahead of its time.
Very
a lot
ahead
of
its time.
you could say that about most of the ones that we've said. Like a lot of these cartoons that we're mentioning were ahead of their time. Like in animation, through story, and just like
Has
the
any
humor.
other musical artist made a kids show that is that good? Like, and put like that much effort into the production of the music in the show? Like,
No, that's why it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't a sustainable show.
Yes, yeah. But
Yeah.
even for a season, like if
For
Kanye West
Class of 3000,
did a
right?
show, did a kids show and just like produced all the songs.
I mean,
for,
he
like,
has kids now, so
10 episodes, 20 episodes. That'd be
He probably could have, but that was not on his mind during that
Yeah,
time. He was
yeah.
still coming up.
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
he was doing like 20 beats a day. Don't worry.
I will add one honorable mention would be like Ed, Edd and Eddie and
Yeah.
Foster's Home for
Yes,
Imaginary
that's another
Friends.
good one.
I think that's
Ooh.
good. Those are really good shows.
We already mentioned like Samurai Jack, which was great, undeniable.
Yes.
I mean, even now, didn't they release like the
the last season.
Yeah, they did it
the
on
last
Adult
season,
Swim.
and then people loved it. I'm gonna go back even further and mention Powerpuff Girls, which is
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
really
I
funny.
forgot that was on Cartoon Network.
I
Yeah.
think that is one that does hold up. The humor is really funny in Powerpuff
Yeah.
Girls. All like people don't remember, but it was really funny.
I remember the movie.
Yeah, that was good. Dexter's Lab, also
Dexter's
great.
Lab.
I
Good
really
show.
like Dexter's Lab. Totally Spies. I don't know.
I remember Totally Spies.
I love Totally Spies. I wanted
liked
to
the
be
first
them.
2 seasons. I feel like the more it got, it continued, the more it
They
just,
jumped the shark. They kind of
Yeah.
were like.
I'm surprised you watched it because I
Of
feel like it
course.
was geared towards
It was, but
female
I think
kids,
we all
I
but
don't
watched
care.
it.
It looked
it was
anime. That was
great.
why I watched
Yeah.
it.
it was
And it was
great.
about spies.
They were cute.
Yeah.
The girls were cute. No, I wanted to be them.
It was like Charlie's Angels before kids.
2 underrated ones for me that people don't talk enough about is Codename. I mean, not Codename. Codelioku.
Oh, okay.
And then,
the animation.
yeah, I like that one.
Crazy.
And Megas XLR.
oh,
Megas
nice.
XLR.
That was a bombshell.
That was like our first introduction to mechs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's just, I loved it just because they made fun of a lot of anime and it had so many video game references.
Then
so,
that one was ahead of its time too.
So,
Cool. Codelioku
Megas
was fun.
XLR, yeah. The all great intros, from what I remember.
oh yeah, chick stick giant robots.
I've never seen this.
You have to watch Vegas. That's a good one. But I guess we can move to Adult Swim since.
Right, Boondocks.
Unless we can you think of any more cartoons that need to be mentioned?
That needs to be
Cartoon
mentioned?
Network.
I mean, I feel like there was a lot of new ones that we.
Okay,
Yeah,
No,
so
we're not
if
talking
we're
about
new
those.
Okay,
you.
I will give Steven Universe a shout. I thought Steven Universe was a good one.
Oh, even Adventure Time had a huge
Adventure
Time.
cultural.
With when those newer cartoons came along was when I kind of like had to. I just couldn't get into
Like
Steven Universe. I
Chowder,
couldn't get into
um,
Adventure Time or Chowder. The one that I remember enjoying Regular Show.
Oh yeah, regular
every
show's
couple
funny.
episodes. I
Yeah.
remember enjoying that one, but the other ones I just couldn't get into it, and maybe it was because I was old when they came
Yeah.
out.
I remember enjoying Adventure Time, but you're right. Like I was at a point in my life where I was probably watching other things.
Yeah.
I was getting old. Yeah,
Watching
same.
Supernatural.
Yeah,
But
very
those
nice
shows
one.
had their moment, and they were like,
Yeah, and
that's
they-
what cartoon. It was another heyday for Cartoon Network,
Yeah.
from what I remember.
It was also like another cultural.
No, absolutely.
thing,
Like
yeah.
those fandoms are actually still a thing. Like
They
people
are.
are still
They are.
consuming Steven Universe and Adventure Time content and making it and like making art and fan fiction. So like,
I guess another show we kind of forgot was Young Justice. Like that was on Cartoon Network.
Sure.
that's a weird
Yeah.
one because it's like you don't, for some reason when I think Young Justice, I don't think Cartoon Network because I guess, it was like so short-lived on there.
Yeah, it was.
It's almost like offensive to be like, no, this is ours. It's not Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it feels more like a WB thing, like
Yeah.
or like a DC.
Okay, yeah, it definitely feels like a DC
Streaming thing.
property.
DC, man. WB, always problems with branding, I guess.
But the first 2 seasons were on, and those are the best seasons of Young Justice. So,
That's true.
so
That's
I
true.
think it should deserve its.
A mention for
A
they
sure.
mention
were
for
they
sure.
were more. They must have been hungrier and more competitive when they were like on broadcast television for
Something,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, but I guess if we want to move to Adult Swim, what you guys would say is the best show that's been on Adult Swim?
I can't
Man.
say. Yeah. I mean, you had one.
I know
Yeah.
Boondocks.
Yeah.
I agree
Boondocks.
with OC.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with OC about Boondocks.
Yeah.
Well,
it's-
because you're anime fans, right?
Not just that, because we're
Yeah.
black people, but
Hey, it had to be said.
but
no,
it's more. I
Yeah.
just think
I
that's the
definitely-
only show that I will always laugh hard no matter how many times I watch it.
It's
Yeah.
a perfect satire. It's
It is so
perfect.
good.
It is a perfect show.
I always watch.
I'll give it up.
I always go back and rewatch episodes from the Boondocks, like the Christmas episode every time, every year during Christmas. Like, oh man, this is a Christmas episode of Boondocks type of day. And then my favorite episodes are the number one, the Cakeball episode.
The K-pop
The Cakeball episode is my number one favorite. It's like, oh, so good. And then the fundraiser episode is like up there with that. It's like, oh man, the quotes in those movies are so funny.
I don't know. For me, it always will be like
Those shows.
season 2 to me is the most hilarious season. I can't get over the stink meter one.
Oh
Where Steven possesses
yeah.
him.
Oh man,
That's such a good one. Just see, that's another reason why I can't take horror seriously. Because now when you're thinking about Exorcist, I'm thinking read, nigga, read. I'm like, what? And in the moments like that, I just can't take it seriously.
I mean,
So-
you're not. I mean, they're referencing to classic horror
So
films.
it's stuff like that, and then like I like the episode where when Usher takes Tom's
Oh
wife.
yeah, Usher takes Tom's
just
wife. It's like, if it was if it was T.I., I would understand that, but Usher. Oh man.
And then Just let it burn. I just loved it because they're like, car.
Yeah. I think that Usher episode might have been the first episode of Boondocks that I ever watched.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That might have been the
intro.
first one that I watched.
I think technically too, it was like, I mean, you see like the references to like anime in there,
Yeah.
and it's like if you do a side by side, like the way they animated it
Oh,
would be
yeah.
like so perfect.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
random fight scenes,
It
like
definitely, the fight scenes were well done.
so good.
They were definitely inspired by like Samurai Shampoo and whatnot, and Cowboy
Samurai
Bebop.
Shampoo.
So that's why the animation style. And it's interesting because like there's literally like a fight that I think Riley was having with it was the episode where like Sneak Mirror's crew comes in, and people looked at it. They compared it to a Naruto fight, and it was like the exact same choreo, where it's like the Sasuke
cool.
versus
It was.
Orochimaru.
There's a
It's like exact
couple
same
like
choreo.
that, like throughout the show, I think. But
Yeah.
that's like one of the more perfect shows for
I've
sure.
never seen an episode. I feel like I should
Me
check it
neither.
out.
I think
Yeah.
you should. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love
Gotta
it.
do it for the culture one time.
Definitely. I mean, I guess another
I don't know.
Adult Swim show.
You guys talking about it, it makes me feel like I really want to watch it. Like even more so than the new TV shows like
Definitely.
Rings of Power or like House of Dragons.
Yeah, I agree. Boondocks
I'm
is like my top like favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, this makes me feel more interested in watching that.
I just don't
Yeah.
feel like you should watch season 4. Season 4 was a downgrade.
There was one good episode in season 4.
One episode.
The one with the flashback of Granddad. I liked that episode. Otherwise,
I think the only other good episode to me was the one with Riley, because you know Riley always says gay, but now that they kind of made it a commentary as if he's allowed to say gay.
in that with season 4, the last season.
Yeah, season 4 last season.
I don't
It was
remember
like
that
the episode was
episode.
called "Gay's the New Black" or something like that. Where it's like, could a guy say that word now?
Maybe.
because of the way our culture was.
Okay.
So I thought the episode
Maybe
was
I'll rewatch.
interesting because it's like it changes how he is as a character.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I think you should just watch the first 3 seasons. They're way amazing. It's really good. And I guess
Or just
another
watch the fundraiser episode or the kickball episode.
What's on Adult Swim again? Like
What's on it?
yeah, because I don't think I have a favorite from Adult Swim.
I mean,
it's-
Rick and Morty's on Adult Swim.
It's like as old
didn't
as
watch
like
it.
Cartoon Network, right? Wasn't there
Yeah.
from the beginning? Like they've had like a huge repertoire of cartoons, like
Yeah.
some like that I probably can't even think of because they had.
I mean,
they had Robot Chicken on
I
there.
was
Robot
I was gonna
Chicken.
say
Just
Robot
say
Chicken.
that.
though, like,
Robot
everyone
Chicken
loved Robot
They
Chicken.
was
had
like a
Family
good sketch
Guy,
show.
They had Futurama.
Oh yeah.
I have one that's kind of not a deep cut, but I don't know. I don't feel like it gets the credit that I think it deserves. But I'm a big Venture Bros fan.
Okay.
Have any of you guys checked out Venture
I think
Bros?
I've seen an episode or two.
That's so wild to me because we like Marvel and DC things, right? No other superhero satire show, animated or not, I think touches Venture Bros. Because this predates like The Boys. This predates Invincible, and they were like the references they make, and then it's also kind of a timepiece too, because it's like. I don't know. It's unclear like what time period it is, but they also have like references to like spy stuff and espionage too. Like it references like James Bond type stuff, and like they go on these like little adventures. But it's also really funny and satirical, and like you can clearly see like, oh, this character is like he's definitely like a Doctor Strange character or a Dr. Fate character, but like they have different names because they're like emulating these characters in the show.
Right.
I recommend Venture Bros if you haven't seen it. If you're a
definitely
fan of like suits of like superhero stuff, like
Yeah.
it's a fun watch. Like Venture Bros is really cool. I'm really into it. I might send you guys some stuff because it's
Yeah, you should.
it's classic, and I think they like renewed it or something. Probably not as good as it used to be, but like the first couple seasons were great. Like
Yes.
Venture
Okay.
Bros, I recommend to anyone out there that's
I'll
like a
have
fan
I'll
of
have to check
superhero
out.
stuff.
Yeah, that and the Boondocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Another-
Yeah, Scott and Christine, what are your guys' favorite shows?
For me, I would
Adult
have
Swim.
to say Inuyasha because that was.
Whoa, sorry, that's anime.
Oh, wait,
Well,
what?
sorry.
We can't do any.
We're gonna get to
Inuyasha was
anime.
on
We'll get
Adult
to
Swim.
anime.
It was, but we're getting to anime in its next category.
Oh my
Anime's
gosh!
next
All right,
category.
then I can't say anything because.
Really?
Oh, you know
I mean,
what?
that was King of the Hill.
Futurama was
Futurama.
was really good for me.
That was a good show.
Was
Yeah.
South Park on
No,
was
that
South
was
Park
that was Comedy Central.
There is Rick and Morty.
Oh.
That's another
Well,
one.
I didn't watch it. Like I'm thinking back in
Yeah,
my
okay.
day.
Same here.
Okay.
Same here.
And I still haven't watched Rick and Morty on Cartoon Network itself.
Okay.
I've just watched it on
Yeah.
streaming platforms.
Okay.
I know we
But-
didn't say like what time period we're talking about, but we're talking like when we used to sit in front of the TV.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're
Like,
talking
let's
about
go
that
with
time
that.
period.
So if it was that, then I would say like Futurama, Family
Okay.
Guy. If
Futurama was
it
good.
was on there back then.
Yeah, I didn't really
Squidbillies.
watch Adult Swim very much.
Okay.
So I guess I can say Family Guy, but like,
Yeah.
So let's just move on to the anime category.
Sure. We'll move to the category everyone cares
All
about.
right, Toonami.
Dragon Ball Z.
Okay. Okay. Best anime that you experience on Toonami.
Was the One Piece dub on Toonami?
Yeah.
Dude,
Okay, this is
Yeah.
well,
Yes.
they had both dubs, but I guess if we're talking about back in the day, yes, the 4Kids dub was
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Toonami.
yeah.
I like that dub. I liked One Piece, and the song was great.
The song was amazing.
One
That's
Piece,
another
that's
top
the
tier
name of
contender
the
for
treasure.
best.
Okay.
We should put that on the list of best music. But yeah,
Okay, that's mine. Enough said.
okay. What about you, Scott?
I just said Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Inuyasha for me, and I have to explain why, because
Okay.
that was like the core of my childhood. That was my intro, not my intro to anime, but that was my first like access to anime where I could just sit there and watch like episodes like back to back to back. And then that was my intro to like access to every other anime. I was able to watch like Cardcaptor Sakura and like a bunch of other animes because of that. And I would like ask my sister like, hey, how can I watch more? Like that was really that started the biggest part of my life. And I became like dependent on anime. And I would draw anime. I was living and breathing and dreaming anime. But yeah, that was done. Yeah, there you go. Inuyasha.
Toonami opened that door for us.
Yes.
Because there's like a
Yes.
whole, because
Yeah.
Japanese animation is its own other
Yeah,
thing that you can
yeah.
like go down the rabbit hole, and like I don't think any of us would have had that exposure if it wasn't for Toonami.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it was such a big part of my life, at least Inuyasha, to the point where I started reading fan fiction about Inuyasha.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
intense.
it was. That's how big it was.
Shouts out to
guys.
fan fiction
Was
writers. Y'all are doing it for
Inuyasha,
free. I
like,
love
your
y'all.
Cartoon crush growing up.
I wouldn't say so. I think it was
Okay.
just the fantasy
if he was.
aspect, like living in a, like just being able to be transported into a different time, like because the main character Kagome, she
The first Ikes.
she gets transported to a different time, like the feudal Japan, and she's able to like have these powers. I think it's like that coming of age
Okay.
aspect that really got me.
Okay.
But I
see.
think I mean, all
That
the
was
characters were
technically-
my crush.
That was technically an isekai, you said, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Was Yu Yu Hakusho an isekai because
No,
isekai because
No, I wouldn't
because
say it's
he would kind of be like in the different
the
realm.
way it worked was like the way it worked was first he died, right, and then he has.
But then he was in a different realm.
The way he went into different realms because the Ikazai is you're getting forced. What happened was he made a deal to be like, hey, all right, if you come back to life, you have to kill spirits for me.
Okay. Yeah,
So
you're
it's
right.
a deal
Yeah,
being
you're right.
exchanged.
Okay.
But
So Inuyasha is like your first isekai. Like it's sort of just like sucked you in.
Yeah, now that I think about it.
yeah.
yeah.
That's why you love it so much.
That's why I love the isekai genre. Forced me to go to a different world.
That's how it started. What about you, Osi? What's your favorite anime or best anime you think was on Adult Swim? I mean,
Well,
not
the thing
Adult Swim.
about watching TV shows back then was a problem that we had to deal with was watching things out of order, and we would have to deal with the fact that shows that had narrative structures, narrative storylines from episode to episode were confusing because we couldn't control what episode we watched
Yeah.
when we watched it,
Yeah.
and so.
I'm getting PTSD from you talking about this.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes like you had to do a family thing, and I'm like, oh, I'm missing this
Yeah.
episode.
I remember that.
I'm
I
actually
remember
getting
that.
a little stressed right now.
No, yeah, and for that reason, one of the anime that I loved so much was Rurouni Kenshin.
Really?
Yeah, but I never understood the story. I loved all the aspects of it. I loved the samurai and
Yeah.
like the fighting,
Absolutely.
but I never understood the story, and so that was a huge disappointment for me. And I guess that kind of got in the way of my enjoyment. The thing about Dragon Ball Z is that it doesn't matter what the story is. Every episode is action packed, and you had fun watching it. And so that's probably why a lot of us who grew up with in that era love Dragon Ball Z so much because I think you could just pick up any episode from anywhere and just sit down and watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, it was definitely engaging. I also feel like it was a lot edgy because, like, I'll never forget the times where you see Frieza like beating up Vegeta and the blood comes and Frieza just licks the blood. And you're like, holy shit! And you're looking at it as a kid, you're like, damn, this guy is so savage. Cool. So
he just licked blood off of him.
It was back in the day.
I think like one of the most memorable episodes was for sure Frieza coming back as a Mecha Frieza. And then Trunks slicing him up. And then blasting him. That's like childhood memories right there.
I've never watched Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, man.
God. But if I had to say my best anime watching experience, because I got cable later on, so I did watch Dragon Ball Z, but it was like on and off. Like I saw the Spanish Dragon Ball Z more than I seen the English one.
Oh my god.
That's what I was to see Dragon Ball Z. But but for me, it has to be Naruto because I remember there's literally times where Cartoon Network dedicate days where you could watch a Naruto marathon.
Yeah.
And I remember the times because like when us being Nigerian, we have to go to like people's houses.
Yeah,
we would go to the houses and we'll be watching Naruto. And then like the aunties will come in and be like, what is this guy's this Sasuke? He has these demon stuff. What is that? And I'm like, oh, it's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the show. And then Sasuke is going, hey Sakura, did he destroy your arms? Let me go break his arms. it was funny seeing like the parents get upset about it.
Yeah, I remember. I think your mom was trying to convince my parents about how Pokemon was evil.
Oh yeah.
That's so funny.
It's like, they have these pocket monsters, in their pockets.
I remember that.
Demonic monster.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man.
Yeah.
I hope my parents are paying attention.
That's so funny.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was hilarious. But it's crazy how much anime Toonami had. Like, at one point it had Yu-Gi-Oh! At one point it had Pokemon. It was just...
Shouts out to Zatch Bell. I like that one. Prince of Tennis.
Yeah. I mean, Rave Master.
I rewatched Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I think 2 years
Oh,
ago.
wow. Nice.
Heart of the
Yu-Gi-Oh's
cards,
great,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Love Kaiba.
Yu-Gi-Oh! is great. And I love Kaiba too.
The blue eyes,
Kaiba
white
Court.
dragon.
But I also think Toonami is also responsible for a lot of DC because that's where Justice League first came in, was on Toonami.
Really?
Yeah, Justice League was on Toonami.
So then my answer was wrong. It's like your favorite Cartoon Network. Okay, then it's Courage the Cowardly Dog.
So yeah, that, and then I remember Justice League Unlimited. That's
Those
when
were
I
on
watched
Toonami?
That was on Toonami.
Why?
Because I guess it was more action, adult, and oriented. And
I guess they did frame Toonami to be a little more adult than like the rest of their cartoons. That's it. Oh, wasn't Samurai Jack also on Toonami then?
at one point, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting that they kind of were like shifting things around to be like at different blocks of the day. Because the later you got, like the more adult things got on that channel.
Was Nihao Kailan, or is that the name? Was that on Cartoon Network?
Nihao Kailan, isn't
know.
that like a
Hamtaro's
really
on
little
Cartoon
kid
Network.
show?
Oh my god! Hamtaro! I loved Hamtaro!
I remember it because there was one time Toonami was all like, I guess people didn't like the show, so we're gonna replace it with
Hamtaro!
Literally, there was a moment they're like, okay, people don't watch this show too much, so we're gonna replace it with some more Dragon Ball Z.
Hamtaro was so cute. Literally just hamsters. A hamster's life. A bunch of hamsters.
Okay.
There was
also
Boba
Hi Hi
Boba
Puffy
Boba
on
Boba
Yumi.
Boba.
Oh, Hi Puffy
Boba Boba
I
Boba.
started off reading that manga.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know like that was a thing.
That was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen as a kid, and I was like, all right. I just took it as it was.
Yeah,
I
think
found
was
that
too
manga
weird
in a
for me to get
library.
into too much.
Yeah.
I watched a couple episodes and like, this is weird.
So I was like,
Was
damn, his
Bleach
nose
on
hairs,
Toonami or
huh?
no?
Exactly.
Bleach?
I think so,
I think
yeah.
it was.
Bleach?
was not on Toonami.
Adult Swim,
No.
It was on Adult Swim.
Adult
Yeah.
Swim, yeah.
Adult
Was
Swim.
Gintama? What was that on?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure that was Cartoon Network.
Gundam was definitely on Toonami. Gundam.
I didn't
I
watch
don't remember
Or Adult
Gundam.
Swim.
Wait, are you sure? I don't remember.
Gundam was like all of Gundam. Each like any version of Gundam was on Toonami.
No.
Gundam Wing.
Can anyone else
Gundam
confirm this?
SDD.
I
feel
I
like
can
I
confirm
remember-
this.
I feel
I
like I
can
remember
confirm
it
this.
being
I know.
Are you sure it wasn't Mega's
good.
XLR?
No, Gundam. 100% on that. Yeah, so that was on Toonami
Robots.
for sure. Yeah, I love Megas XR. Damn, Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
That's always my favorite 90s.
Yeah,
Another
it was
great,
on- it
another
was on
great
Toonami,
intro.
confirming.
Another great
Yeah.
intro.
Confirmed.
Yeah. They're a great intro. Great intro. Man, we should just have an anime intro battle, man. Because I feel like, what was it? One Piece? You have that intro.
Dude, Inuyasha?
That's the
Great OST.
We could do the Dragon Ball GT one. Dragon Ball GT!
Oh my gosh.
I still I karaoke to the Inuyasha songs
Oh, wow.
to this day.
Dang, that's awesome to hear. I love like just hearing like stuff that people were like obsessed with because it sounds like you're obsessed with Inuyasha.
I still am.
Nice.
A
But
lot
I
of
haven't
people,
watched. They have a new one. It's like about what happened after, and it's like about their kids.
Yeah, I remember you
the
mentioning it.
fandom
Yeah.
is big for Inuyasha.
Yeah. So, any last thoughts about Cartoon Network since it's 30?
Man, it's almost we're
Lots
almost
of
as old
memories,
as
dude.
it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're right. I
Yeah.
didn't put that together. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's
Dang.
weird to think about that. But,
It's like, media is like another way that you're like raised,
Mhm.
I think from consuming all the media that was on Cartoon Network, that kind of shaped like who we are and like our humor.
definitely.
And, like,
definitely.
I remember, so anime is like universally accepted now. Back in the day, anime was a very new thing. I think there was
Yeah.
like this I guess misconception that if you watch anime you're like a huge nerd. I mean it's true, but like
Yeah.
No,
back then it was like
was.
back then it was like way less acceptable to be like out about like oh I love
It was
anime.
like shunned almost.
But like Cartoon Network was like they helped with that, like I guess
Introduction.
Yeah.
giving exposure to like American kids that like hey this is a thing and you can be interested in it because it's cool and now like look at like how big anime is
Definitely.
in just in American culture. I mean huge expos for anime like with
Oh,
WonderCon
yeah.
you have Anime Expo and I think like Cartoon Network was like a huge like key part of like that anime culture in America and you got to give it up to
Definitely,
Toonami. You got to give it up to Toonami. And who was the voice actor that was like the guy that would intro Toonami stuff?
Steve Bloom.
Yeah.
I love him.
I love him because what was his character that he was like?
Tom.
Tom.
Oh my god, I had a crush on Tom.
Yeah, Crush on Top. He's the same voice as Spike Spiegel.
Love that voice.
From
That's Spike.
Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
Spike
that's the
Spiegel.
best.
Also,
He's like a lot of people in
Optimus
Naruto.
Prime.
Wasn't he also
Optimus
Slade?
Prime.
Huh?
Wasn't he also Slade, Loki?
No, he's not Slade. That's what's his face? How could I forget that voice actor? He's a famous.
No, wasn't he? He was the American VA for Zorro. No,
Not for Zorro. No,
I'm
I don't
getting
think
this all
so.
wrong.
He's definitely.
but he's a
famous
legend.
voice.
He's a legend.
He's
is
a
what I'm
legend
trying to
voice
say.
actor for sure. And I think the thing with Cartoon Network, what made it stand out from like all the other television blocks at the time, was just like it was really just a comedy, action-orientated thing. Like, yeah, WB had it, and that's kind of the sister network. And maybe you can say like other stuff like Fox, but at the time, Nickelodeon didn't start having like action cartoons until later on with like
They
Danny
can't-
Phantom and
yeah.
Avatar, right?
They
So
can't
that took a
touch
while.
Cartoon Network
So it
with
was
the
like that.
diversity of stuff that Cartoon
Right.
Network was showing.
So,
Right.
and it was like the first one to have well, actually, Nickelodeon did have cartoons, but it wasn't cartoon orientated at the time when Nickelodeon started. So Cartoon Network was literally, I guess, Cartoon Network, mainly cartoons, and yeah, man, definitely. I mean, I don't really like where it's going now, but I enjoy what I had when I was a child. So I can definitely say
You're not
things.
keeping caught up on Teen Titans Go?
No, I mean, I get the jokes. I mean, I saw this, was it the Zack Snyder joke, which was pretty funny. So, they had some funny jokes on
It's
Teen Titans
just-
Go.
It's also how like we're consuming this media now. Like
Yeah.
there's no cable.
Yeah.
Like there's no network TV that we're
Right.
like sitting in front of at
Mhm.
X amount of time, And I think that changes things too.
There's just so much we have
It's
access
just
to.
it is at this point we can say it's a bygone era. Sad to
Yeah.
say, it's like just not something that anyone else outside of our generation is going to experience.
Right.
But yeah, I'm thankful that we had all those great shows.
Definitely.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments, what is your favorite Cartoon Network show, or what did you love, and is there anything underrated that we didn't talk about? I mean, I think Class of 3000 is probably more, but
Yeah.
hey,
That's
man.
a deep cut.
But yeah.
Watch Class of 3000. At least the songs. Listen to the songs. for
Watch
the
everything we
episode.
mentioned.
Yeah.
These are all great
Yeah.
heavy hitters.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.